Prime Minister Narendra Modi declares 14th August as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day, a day to be observed to acknowledge the pain undergone by Indians due to the partition of India in 1947. As the nation enters 75th year of independence tomorrow, a string of activities celebrating the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav planned across the nation. Government unveils the official logo. President Ram Nath Kovind to address the nation this evening. Pedal for Health campaign launched as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Delhi. Union Ministers Anurag Thakur, Mansukh Mandavia and Kiran Rijiju ride bicycles from Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium to Akbar Road. Campaign to help promote cycling in the country and keep India healthy and fit. Assam's militant group Ulfa I extends ceasefire for 3 more months. Chief Minister Himant Biswa Sarma appreciates the move and appeals to them to return to the mainstream. Four more sites of India added to Ramsar list as wetlands of international importance. These sites are Thol and Vadwana from Gujarat and Sultanpur and Bhindawaz from Haryana. Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani addresses the nation, prioritizes remobilization of security and defense forces, says will prevent instability and violence, further adds will not allow the loss of gains of the last 20 years. Situation in Afghanistan worsening after Taliban take control of Kandahar. Assault expected on Kabul, say reports. Canada plans to resettle 20,000 vulnerable Afghans such as women leaders and human rights workers. UK fears militant groups would thrive in such a scenario. Hello and welcome. You're watching DD India with me, Munmun Bhattacharya. Our top story: Prime Minister Narendra Modi has declared that 14th August will be observed as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day to acknowledge the pain undergone by Indians due to the partition of India in 1947. In a series of tweets, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Partition's pains can never be forgotten. Millions of our sisters and brothers were displaced and many lost their lives due to mindless hate and violence. In memory of the struggles and sacrifices of our people, 14th August will be observed as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. May the Partition Horrors Remembrance Day keep reminding us of the need to remove the poison of social divisions, disharmony, and further strengthen the spirit of oneness, social harmony, and human empowerment." Union Home Minister Amit Shah has welcomed Prime Minister Narendra Modi's decision to observe 14th August as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. In his tweet, Amit Shah said, "In the memory of the sacrifice and struggle of our innumerable sisters and brothers who were displaced in the shadow of violence and hatred at the time of partition of the country, Shri Narendra Modi has decided to observe 14th August as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. I welcome Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi for taking this sensitive decision." In another tweet, Amit Shah said, "The wound of the partition of the country and the grief of losing loved ones cannot be described in words. I am sure that Partition Horrors Remembrance Day will strengthen peace, love and unity by eliminating the ill will of discrimination and malice from society." Union Minister Nitin Gadkari also tweeted on the announcement made by Prime Minister Modi, saying, "In the memory of struggle and sacrifice of millions of countrymen during partition, 14th August has been declared Partition Horrors Remembrance Day by PM Shri Narendra Modi ji. The day will remind us that hatred and violence is never a solution. It will inspire us to work towards social harmony and sensitivity." Reacting to the announcement by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Minister Smriti Irani in a tweet said, "Generations were torn apart. For many, the scars will never heal. Today on Partition Horrors Remembrance Day, we resolve to ensure never again shall we be divided. Never again shall we come apart. Onwards together to build a new India." Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur in a tweet said, and I quote, "Partition was a horrific tragedy whose horror is impossible to be described. In the memory of struggle of our brothers and sisters suffering the pain of displacement, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has taken a praiseworthy decision to observe 14th August as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. The Partition Horrors Remembrance Day will help all Indians in promoting unity, inclusiveness and social values in remembering the sacrifice of our ancestors." President Ramnath Kovind will address the nation today on the eve of the 75th Independence Day. The address will be broadcast from 1900 hours on the entire national network of All India Radio and telecast over all channels of Doordarshan in Hindi, followed by the English version. Broadcast of the address in Hindi and English on Doordarshan will be followed by broadcast in regional languages by regional channels of Doordarshan. AIR will broadcast regional language versions at 21:30 hours on its respective regional networks. The Government of India will celebrate the 75th year of India's independence in a grand manner at the national and international levels. In the series, the centre yesterday unveiled the official logo to mark the momentous occasion. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation from the ramparts of the Red Fort tomorrow and lay out the government's programs and policies. The Prime Minister had directly invited ideas and suggestions from citizens for the Independence Day speech. PM Narendra Modi will pick up some of the ideas in his speech. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Pedal for Health program was organized in 75 cities across the country today. In the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi, Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya, Union Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Singh Thakur and Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju participated in the event and cycled from the stadium to Akbar Road. More in this report.
Commemorating the 75th year of independence, Union Minister Mansukh Mandaviya, Anurag Singh Thakur and Kiran Rijiju participated in the Pedal for Health initiative on Sunday. The three union ministers, along with other officials, embarked upon a 3-kilometer bicycle journey from the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in Delhi. The initiative was taken under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav campaign.
साइकिलिंग के माध्यम से व्यक्ति स्वस्थ रहे और व्यक्ति स्वस्थ होगा तो देश स्वस्थ होगा और इसलिए आज़ादी के 75 साल के अवसर पर देश के 75 शहर में 75 सिटी में पेडल फॉर हेल्थ कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से हमने एक शुरुआत की है और एक साल तक हम ऐसे ही कार्यक्रम के माध्यम से देश के नागरिकों की हेल्थ बनाने के लिए कोशिश करेंगे।
Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur highlighted the paradigm shift in priorities of people centering around health. He also put forth the idea of fitness ka dose आधा घंटा हर रोज and urged people to give at least half an hour a day to any physical activity.
आज़ादी के अमृत महोत्सव पर बहुत सारी संस्थाओं को साथ में जोड़कर पैडल फॉर हेल्थ एक जागरूकता अभियान जन भागीदारी के लिए, अच्छे स्वास्थ्य के लिए, ताकि लोग फिटनेस का डोज आधा घंटा रोज कम से कम इसको लें, स्वस्थ रहें और स्वस्थ भारत का निर्माण भी करें, सशक्त भारत का निर्माण भी करें।
Emphasizing on the relevance of cycling for a good health, Law Minister Kiran Rijiju said that cycling will not only help improving individual health but ultimately contribute in slashing the loads on hospitals.
75 वर्ष का सेलिब्रेशन तो चल रहा है, लेकिन साइकिलिंग करना, जॉगिंग करना, वॉकिंग, ट्रैकिंग, खेलना, फिटनेस, वेलनेस, ये तो चलती रहनी चाहिए ज़िंदगी भर। और आज़ादी का 75 वर्ष का जो अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे, इसमें साइकिलिंग बड़ा इवेंट के रूप में देश भर में मनाया जा रहा है।
Cycling is not only a fun activity but is also a great exercise to tone your muscles, strengthen your bones and lose weight. Anyone who wants to increase the quality of life must ride a bicycle or do any physical activity for at least half an hour to stay healthy and fit.
To include cycling in day-to-day life, to improve physical fitness and reduce air pollution, a nationwide campaign, Pedal for Health, was launched. This will take cycling to new heights. With cameraman Bhim Singh, Varsha Kotwal, DD News, New Delhi.
As part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations, the Ministry of Tourism, in collaboration with the Association of Indian Universities, will launch a series of 12 episodes that will take the participants on a virtual journey of incredible India. Each of the 12 episodes will focus on diverse themes regarding cultural heritage of India and to generate awareness about incredible India. The event will be inaugurated by Union Minister of Tourism G. Kishan Reddy. In the journey of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the Ministry of Tourism is focusing on children and youth to get them more acquainted with India's glorious past and a grand future.
जो इश्यू नहीं है, इश्यू उठाकर आज संसद को रोकना बहुत क्राइम है। लगभग 130 करोड़ अभी वेस्ट हो गया। जनता का पैसे है, टैक्स पेयर्स पैसे है। पार्लियामेंट में पूरे पॉजिटिव डिस्कशन होना चाहिए, प्रोडक्टिविटी होना चाहिए और देश के हित के लिए जो भी समस्या है उसको उठाना चाहिए।
For the first time ever this year, as soon as the national flag is hoisted by the Prime Minister, flower petals will be showered at the venue by two Mi-17 1V helicopters of the Indian Air Force in Amrit formation. Captain of the first helicopter will be Wing Commander Baldev Singh Bisht. The second chopper is commanded by Wing Commander Nikhil Mehrotra. After the showering of flower petals, the Prime Minister will address the nation. At the conclusion of the speech of the Prime Minister, the cadets of National Cadet Corps will sing the national anthem. 500 NCC cadets of the Army, Navy and Air Force from different schools will be taking part in this festival of national fervour. Meanwhile, Delhi Police has made, let's go across now to the Cultural Centre of Rashtrapati Bhavan, where President Ramnath Kovind is hosting the Indian contingent of the Tokyo Olympics. You just saw visuals from the Rashtrapati Bhavan's Cultural Centre, where you saw President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu, Union Sports and Youth Affairs Minister Anurag Singh Thakur, and the Indian contingent of the Tokyo Olympics 2021 is being welcomed there. You'd remember that India has registered its best performance so far in the Tokyo Olympics compared to all the Olympics that India has participated in so far. In fact, for around 40-41 years, India has given its best performance in terms of the medals that India has won. India has won 7 medals. This includes gold medal by Neeraj Chopra, silver medal by Ravi Dhaya, silver medal by Mirabai Chanu, and bronze medals by a host of other players as well as by the Indian men's hockey team. We'll be going back to that in just a bit, because it's expected that President will be addressing the Indian contingent for the Tokyo Olympics. Meanwhile, Delhi police has made elaborate security arrangements in the national capital in view of the 75th Independence Day. Special arrangements have been made in around the Red Fort, from where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation. For the convenience of the public and security reasons, certain traffic restrictions have been imposed around the Red Fort. Only those vehicles with a valid pass issued by Delhi Traffic Police will be permitted to be around the Red Fort area tomorrow. Many roads will be closed from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Independence Day. The parking facilities at Delhi metro stations will also remain closed till tomorrow afternoon. Security has also been tightened in Srinagar ahead of the Independence Day celebrations. Police and paramilitary forces have been deployed across the valley to thwart any untoward incident. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a multi-layered security arrangement duly backed by ground and aerial surveillance has been put in place across J&K to thwart any untoward incident during the 75th Independence Day celebrations. The security forces intensified frisking in other areas of Jammu Division, especially at various points along the Jammu-Srinagar, Jammu-Pathankot and Jammu-Poonch national highways. These arrangements have been put in place to ensure smooth conduct of Independence Day celebrations. A total of 1,380 police personnel have been awarded medals on the occasion of Independence Day this year. President's Police Medal for Gallantry were awarded to 2 police personnel, while 628 personnel have been awarded Police Medal for Gallantry. Also, President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service was given to 88 police personnel, while 662 personnel have been awarded Police Medal for Meritorious Service. In a major development, the banned United Liberation Front of Ahom Independent or ULFA I has extended ceasefire for 3 more months. Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma informed the media regarding the development in Guwahati today. Dr. Sarma said that unlike past years, this time ULFA has not called for any bandh or boycott on Independence Day. The Chief Minister appreciated the move and said that this is a very positive sign towards establishing peace in the state. He requested ULFA I Chief Paresh Barua to make this permanent and also appealed to return to the mainstream. It is to be mentioned here that ULFA I had earlier announced ceasefire due to COVID-19 situation. The Chief Minister, after taking charge in May this year, has been stressing upon peace talks with ULFA I and has requested them through media to join discussion. Himachal Pradesh government is on alert now following repeated incidents of landslides from across the state. After landslide incidents were reported from Kinnaur, Chamba and Sirmaur, suddenly a part of Pir Panjal Hill collapsed and fell into the Chandrabhaga river yesterday. Scientists of Central Water Commission are reaching Lahore to get to the bottom of the reasons behind such natural calamities. Meanwhile, so far 23 bodies have been recovered in Kinnaur landslide incident. In some good news, 4 more wetlands from India have got recognition from the Ramsar Secretariat as Ramsar sites. These sites are Thol and Wadhwana from Gujarat and Sultanpur and Phindawaz from Haryana. Informing this in a tweet, Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav expressed happiness and stated that it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's special concern for the environment which has led to overall improvement in how India cares for its wetlands. With this, the number of Ramsar sites in India are 46 and the surface area covered by these sites is now around 10.83 lakh hectares. While Haryana gets its first Ramsar site, Gujarat gets 3 more after Nal Sarovar, which was declared in 2012. The aim of the Ramsar list is to develop and maintain an international network of wetlands which are important for the conservation of global biological diversity and for sustaining human life through the maintenance of their ecosystem components, processes and benefits. Wetlands provide a wide range of important resources and ecosystem services such as food, water, fiber, groundwater recharge, water purification, flood moderation, erosion control and climate regulation. They are in fact a major source of water, and our main supply of fresh water comes from an area of wetlands which help soak rainfall and recharge groundwater. Now an update on the COVID-19 situation from across the country. 38,667 new cases have been reported in the last 24 hours, while 35,743 patients have recovered during the same period. Over 3,13,38,000 recoveries have been reported across the country so far. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 97.45%. India's active caseload today stands at 3,87,673. Active cases now constitute only 1.21% of the country's total positive cases, with substantially ramped up testing capacity across the country. A total of 22,29,798 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours in the country. Cumulatively, India has conducted over 49.17 crore tests so far. While on one side, testing capacity has been enhanced across the country, the weekly positivity rate currently stands at 2.05% and the daily positivity rate stands at 1.73% today. Daily positivity rate has remained below 3% for the last 19 days. In a significant achievement, India's cumulative COVID vaccination coverage has achieved 53 crore landmark milestone. A total of 53 crore 61 lakh 89,903 vaccine doses have been administered across the country so far. Over 63.8 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the last 24 hours. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar exchanged perspectives on the situation in Myanmar with Foreign Minister of Brunei. In a tweet, he said that appreciate the call from Brunei Foreign Minister Dato Haji Iriawan. Exchanged perspectives on the situation in Myanmar. India is in full support of the ASEAN initiative. In the latest development from Afghanistan, the Taliban has claimed to have taken Kandahar, the country's second biggest city, in what would be a major blow to Afghan government forces. People gathered around a gate that leads to the Kandahar governor's office as Kandahar was seized by Taliban insurgents. In a video tweeted by a Taliban spokesperson, a large crowd of people and cars can be seen around the gate as two people start to hoist a flag on the flagpole on top of the Eidgah Darwaza. The location of where the video was filmed is verified by the gate, which is near the Kandahar governor's office, and the domed structure next to the gate. Meanwhile, the President of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani, today said that the remobilization of the country's armed forces was a top priority as Taliban fighters inched closer to the capital after routing the country's defenses over the past week. In a televised speech, Ghani said that in the current situation, the remobilization of our security and defense forces is our top priority, and serious steps are being taken in this regard.
Though I know that you are worried about your current situation and your future, I assure you that as your president, my focus is on preventing the expansion of instability, violence and displacement of my people. As part of a historical mission, I will do my best to stop this imposed conflict on the Afghan people to result in further killing of innocent people, loss of your achievements of the last 20 years, destruction of public property and prolonged instability. For this reason, we have started to hold extensive consultations.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on the Taliban to immediately halt their offensive in Afghanistan and warned that Afghanistan is spinning out of control. The UN chief said he was deeply disturbed by early indications that the Taliban are imposing severe restrictions on human rights in the areas under their control, particularly targeting women and journalists.
I hope that discussions in Doha, Qatar, between representatives of the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan and the Taliban, supported by the region and the wider international community, will restore the pathway to a negotiated settlement to the conflict. Only an Afghan-led negotiated political settlement can ensure peace. The United Nations is determined to contribute to such a settlement, promote the rights of all Afghans, and provide life-saving humanitarian help to the ever-increasing numbers of civilians in need.
North Atlantic Treaty Organization or NATO members, along with the European Union and the United Nations, on Friday confirmed that they will not recognize any government in Afghanistan imposed through armed forces. NATO allies met in the North Atlantic Council on Friday to consult on the situation in Afghanistan. Later, NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg said NATO allies are deeply concerned about the high levels of violence caused by the Taliban's offensive, including attacks on civilians, targeted killings and reports of other serious human rights abuses. The Taliban need to understand that they will not be recognized by the international community if they take the country by force, he said. NATO allies' aim remains to support the Afghan government and security forces as much as possible. NATO remains committed to supporting a political solution to the conflict. NATO will maintain its diplomatic presence in Kabul and continue to adjust as necessary. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said that he did not envisage a military solution for Afghanistan, but would continue to exert pressure by diplomatic means. Listen in.
I think we've got to be realistic about the abilities of the UK or any power to impose a military solution, a combat solution in Afghanistan. What we certainly can do is work with all our partners in the region and around the world who share an interest in, with us in preventing Afghanistan from once again becoming a breeding ground for terror. And I think anybody in government in Kabul is going to recognise that the West, the UK, have a permanent interest in making sure that that does not happen. And so we are going to use our diplomatic, our political, our overseas development aid budget leverage to make sure that we exert what pressure we can. And we will continue to do that. But I think the idea of a military or a combat solution is not the one that we should be pursuing right now.
Let's now take a look at updates on COVID-19 from across the world. The virus has infected over 20 crore 69 lakh people, while the number of recoveries has crossed 18 crore 56 lakh worldwide. The number of lives lost to COVID-19 shot above 43 lakh 58,000. The US continues to remain the worst affected with the disease, where more than 3 crore 73 lakh cases have been reported. The country has seen more than 6 lakh 37,000 fatalities due to COVID-19. As the government of France gears up towards tougher health pass checks from the 16th of August, the French were seen lined up to get the COVID-19 vaccine jab. Citizens have been required to show the pass in public places, proving that they have been vaccinated or have recently been tested negative for coronavirus. The country has registered more than 64 lakh 25,000 cases of COVID-19, with fatalities crossing 1 lakh 12,000. Bangladesh government's COVID-19 registration software Surokha came under cyber attack recently. Bangladesh's State Minister for ICT Zunaid Ahmad Palak said that cyber attacks are being mounted from a country to shut down the Surokha app. However, the minister said that the attack was thwarted by the software engineers of the government. The attack was noticed when people were unable to register on the app for some time after the government announced a mass vaccination program from the 7th of August. It was shut down for a while for recovery and maintenance. In Japan, a slow-moving rain front battered parts of southern island of Kyushu, causing floods in some areas. Street in Kurume city with a submerged car and a rescue team passing by on a boat. One woman was dead and 2 other persons were missing today in Nagasaki prefecture after a landslide triggered by rain hit 2 houses. With some parts of the country experiencing record levels of rainfall, Japan has broadened its highest level of risk alerts to cover more than 1 million people. One area recorded 408 mm of rain in the 72 hours to Saturday morning. Japan's meteorological agency has warned of more rain to come over the next few days. Heavy rains have moved into the central part of the largest main island of Honshu. The GMA has warned that the front is likely to remain over the nation for about a week. An enormous wildfire raging across Northern California for nearly a month flared up on Friday along one of its flanks, driven by winds and prompting more mandatory evacuations. The Dixie Fire, which broke out on the 14th of July in the Sierra Nevada mountains, some 160 miles northeast of the state capital Sacramento, grew by nearly 20,000 acres on Friday. The Plumas County Sheriff's Office issued new mandatory evacuations for all of Genesee Valley, with residents being told to leave immediately. The massive Dixie Fire has scorched over 5 lakh acres and remains only about 30% contained. It burned down an additional 550 homes, fire officials said earlier this week, becoming one of the most destructive in state history. Over 1,100 structures have been destroyed in the fire, with about 75 more damaged, Record Searchlight said. The U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has said that July was the hottest month globally ever recorded in the latest data to underline the climate crisis. The climate agency said that the combined land and ocean surface temperature was 1.67 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average of 60.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's now go back to Rashtrapati Bhavan's Cultural Center, where President Ramnath Kovind is hosting the Indian contingent that went for the Tokyo Olympics.
Your attention, please. सभी को नमस्कार and good evening. I am very delighted to be here with all of you today. The entire country is proud of our Olympians for bringing glory to the nation. टोक्यो में सर्वश्रेष्ठ प्रदर्शन करने के लिए मैं सभी खिलाड़ियों को बधाई देता हूं। आप सबकी इस टीम ने ओलंपिक के हमारे इतिहास में सबसे अधिक पदक जीते हैं। पूरा देश इस उपलब्धि पर गौरवान्वित है, इसके लिए भी आप सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई। हमें आज अपनी उन बेटियों पर विशेष रूप से गर्व है जिन्होंने अनेक बाधाओं के बावजूद विश्व स्तर का प्रदर्शन किया। क्लैपिंग प्लीज। कोविड महामारी के कठिन समय में आपने देशवासियों को खुशी मनाने के लिए अवसर प्रदान किए। जब आप खेल प्रतियोगिताओं में हिस्सा लेते हैं तो कभी आप जीतते हैं और कभी हारते भी हैं, लेकिन हर बार आप कुछ न कुछ सीखते जरूर हैं। मुझे यह जानकर खुशी हुई कि टोक्यो ओलंपिक के दौरान आप सबने जीत को विनम्रता के साथ और हार को गरिमा के साथ स्वीकार किया। मैं आप सबको ये बताना चाहता हूं कि 130 करोड़ भारतवासी आपकी सफलता के लिए प्रार्थना कर रहे थे और पूरे उत्साह के साथ आपका समर्थन कर रहे थे। कई वर्षों के बाद ओलंपिक में जब हमारा तिरंगा सबसे ऊपर लहराया गया और हमारा राष्ट्रगान बजाया गया, उस समय सभी देशवासियों की भावनाएं नीरज चोपड़ा के साथ जुड़ी हुई थी। और सभी देशवासियों की एक ही भावना थी कि विजयी विश्व तिरंगा प्यारा, झंडा ऊंचा रहे हमारा। आप सबकी उपलब्धियों ने युवाओं को खेलकूद में भाग लेने के लिए प्रेरित किया है। अभिभावकों में भी खेलकूद के लिए सकारात्मक सोच पैदा हुई है। टोक्यो ओलंपिक में हमारा प्रदर्शन न केवल उपलब्धियों की दृष्टि से बल्कि संभावनाओं की दृष्टि से भी अभूतपूर्व रहा है। आप में से अधिकांश खिलाड़ी अपने स्पोर्टिंग करियर की शुरुआती दौर में हैं। जिस जज्बे और कौशल के साथ आप सभी ने टोक्यो में प्रदर्शन किया है, उसके बल पर आने वाले समय में खेल जगत में भारत की प्रभावशाली उपस्थिति दर्ज होने वाली है। आप सबकी लगन और प्रतिभा के बारे में जानकर मुझे यह विश्वास हो रहा है कि भविष्य के ओलंपियाड में अनेक खेलों में हमारा राष्ट्र ध्वज सबसे ऊपर रहेगा। I appreciate the role played by the coaches, support staff, family members and well-wishers who contributed to your preparations. I once again congratulate you all for your excellent efforts. I wish that all of you set new records in the future. I now invite you all to enjoy high tea. Thank you. Jai Hind.
You heard the President of India, Ram Nath Kovind's address to the Indian contingent that went for the Tokyo Olympics. He said that they have done the country proud. He spoke about the achievements of the women sports persons. He also said that in this Olympics, India has performed its best performance. He also spoke about Neeraj Chopra winning gold and said that at the time of the closing ceremony, the Indian flag was flying high and the whole country was proud of Neeraj Chopra's achievements. He also said that he thanks at this juncture the entire support system around the Indian contingent for the Tokyo Olympics, including the family members of the players as well as the coaches. He said that he is now confident that India will be doing exceedingly well in future in the sports tournaments that take place. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. News and updates will continue on DD India.